Hello and welcome into this Thursday, July 31st edition of the League Winners Fantasy Show. As you can see, I am joined by a very special guest, Mr. AJ Hurley, back for the first time in over 2 years. AJ, it's great to have you back.
What's up, bro?
Perfect. So today, he is here for a mock draft episode. I promised something special for today. It's going to be a mock draft. We're going to be going head-to-head. We're doing a 12-team full PPR draft. I'm going to be picking from slot 3. AJ will be in slot 8.
Yes.
That was randomly selected. Going to be 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 2 flex, plus some bench slots. A little bit of news before we dive in, though. I talked about on the running back show yesterday how my rankings would change if something happened with Zack Moss on the Bengals. Well, as soon as I uploaded that video, he was released from the Bengals, which means Chase Brown does move up a bit in my rankings, just like I said he was going to. Another piece of Bengals news, just a few hours ago, it was announced that Noah Fant, tight end, he was with the Seahawks. If you remember, he was released. Expected to be signed by the Bengals. That'll just move Mike Gesicki down a little bit in the rankings because of that.
Yes.
That's our news. Today we have the Hall of Fame game, which means football is officially back.
Football is back today.
So without further ado, let's dive into this mock draft. We're going to be using Sleeper for this, so we can have the computer do the other picks. First 2 picks were Jamar Chase and Bijan Robinson, which means I'm on the clock with the 3rd pick. My top 2 players were gone. I was really hoping I might have gotten Bijan at the 3 spot. I didn't. I got to go with my next best player. I am going to be taking wide receiver Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's the number 2 wide receiver. I would have liked to go running back there, but I think it's a little too much of a reach for Devon Achane, so I'm going to take Jefferson there. After Jefferson, we had Barkley, then CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jahmyr Gibbs go, which means AJ, you're on the clock.
Well, I'm looking here, right? I can take anybody, everybody. And what I'm really looking for here is a running back. You always want a good running back when you start your league. And one person you want to stay away from is Christian McCaffrey every single year. Unless he falls to like the 3rd round or the 4th round. Stay away from Christian McCaffrey. But here, I'm going to go with a very underrated pick in my opinion. I'm going to go with Ashton Jeanty, the rookie for the Raiders this year.
Yes, the rookie running back. I talked about this a little bit yesterday in the running back show, that Jeanty is, if you're going to want to take him, you got to do it in the 1st round. You got to call your shot on him. AJ's calling his shot on Jeanty here. I don't mind that in the slightest. I think there's a couple other running backs I have ranked ahead of him. Clearly, AJ's out on McCaffrey, which took him out, but I do like him taking over someone like Derrick Henry. Jeanty's shown a lot in the passing game so far at camp. So after AJ took Ashton Jeanty, we see Puka Nacua, Derrick Henry, Malik Neighbors, and then Nico Collins round out round 1 with Brian Thomas, AJ Brown, Devon Achane, and Bucky Irving going to switch AJ back on the clock. What's your thought process here, AJ?
So I'm looking at my thought process here. I already got a running back, and you can look here, as Dalton has said, there's been a good mix of wide receivers and running backs. In a league such as fantasy, and any type of league, no matter if it's PPR or if it's just game by game, but you always need a good tight end. You know, that's going to be the make or break of a week by week game. So when I'm looking at tight ends here, I would look at Brock Bowers, but I already have Jeanty. They're both on the Raiders together. But I want to go with something different here. I'm going to go with McBride here.
Wow.
Tight end for the Cardinals.
Wow, so that's a bit of a reach there. McBride is a little bit farther down, but AJ does know that McBride's going in the 2nd round of drafts, so if he wants to get that positional advantage, he's going to have to take him here. I'm actually very glad you went with McBride, because that means another player could fall to me, and he did. So after McBride, we see Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Drake London, and Ladd McConkey go, which means I can get the guy I have talked up all offseason, the tight end for the Raiders. I'm going to be going Brock Bowers. I think I've said it over and over again that I think he is head and shoulders ahead of every other tight end, including our guy there, Trey McBride. I am more than happy to have him end up on my roster. We see a pair of quarterbacks go next, end up the 2nd round. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson closing out the 2nd round, followed by Garrett Wilson and Jonathan Taylor going before me. Now I have a bit of a selection here because I can go wide receiver or running back. I can even go quarterback here. If I wanted to go Jaden Daniels, I could here. I don't think I want to go tight end and quarterback in the first 3 rounds. If I hadn't gone Bowers, I would have been looking Jaden Daniels here. But because of that, I think I'm going to go wide receiver, running back. The wide receivers on between, I have JSN, we got Jackson Smith and Jigba here. We also have T. Higgins. I'm very high on T. Higgins this year. That's an option for me. At running back, it's going to be Kyron Williams or Chase Brown. I've talked about Chase Brown a little bit. I actually have them, I think, back-to-back in my rankings now. I'm going to have Kyron a little bit ahead of Chase Brown still. So for me, I think I'm going to go with my guy that I expect to have the best ceiling out of these guys. And so I'm going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba wide receiver here. Lock up 2 wide receivers. Chase Brown will go right after that. T. Higgins and Kyron Williams. So in that order where I was looking at them. Brees Hall is one more guy to go. Now AJ's on the clock with Ashton Jinty and Trey McBride already on the roster.
And I talked earlier about how I didn't want to go back-to-back same team, but I'm going to go against what I just said. I need a wide receiver. I already got a running back. I got a tight end. I need a good number 1 wide receiver for my team. And when I'm looking here, you see Tyreek Hill, you see McLaurin. But I want to go with something different here. I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison here. I think Harrison's going to have a great year, so that's what I'm just going to go with here.
I am Marvin Harrison ahead of both Tyreek Hill and Terry McLaurin. I think that's a good pick, especially with all the questions right now about Terry McLaurin's contract situation in Washington. After Marvin Harrison, we see James Cook, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and George Kittle to round out the 3rd round, and then Tyreek Hill, Joe Burrow, Rashee Rice, and Mike Evans in the 4th. Were you going to be looking at Joe Burrow if he made it back to this pick here at quarterback, or because you have the tight end, would you have passed on that selection?
I was looking for a quarterback.
Okay.
I was. And
there's a guy still there.
There is a guy still here. There is a guy still here. Jalen Hurts, great quarterback. And that's what I'm going to go for here. I do need a quarterback, and I think I just need to get my starters figured out first before I get deeper into my team.
So as you can see there, AJ went very balanced to start it. 1 quarterback, 1 running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end. That's absolutely the way to look at it. I've done almost the opposite. I've got 2 wide receivers and a tight end, no running backs, no quarterbacks. After Jalen Hurts goes, we see Devontae Adams, Ken Walker, DJ Moore, and Omarion Hampton, the rookie for the Chargers, actually playing tonight in the Hall of Fame game. It was announced that he will be playing tonight, so that will be exciting to see. For me, I'm actually very happy that I waited on running back because I got my guy here. I have Alvin Kamara right now, my RB5. He falls all the way to me in the 4th round. I am more than happy to make that selection and have him as my RB1 this season. I think that worked out better than I could have dreamed of. I also have the short turn here, so Laporta and Chuba Hubbard close out that 4th round, and then DK Metcalf and Cortland Sutton start us off. I would not have been mad to be able to get one of those 2 guys right there, Sutton and DK Metcalf, both guys I like this year. I am kind of looking at the wide receiver room. If I go running back, I think I'd go James Conner. There's too many questions with Joe Mixon's health right now. I don't want to take that shot. But if I'm looking at wide receiver, there's still so many guys here that I like. Could go Zay Flowers, could go Devonta Smith, even Xavier Worthy could be in play here. I think I'm going to have to go with, man, this is tough because you got to look at who's going to be there when I get back. This is my longer wait. I have to make a determination. Am I confident enough in the running backs that'll get back to me to take my 2nd running back there? I think I am. I'm going to go with my highest rated guy here and take Devonta Smith, the wide receiver for the Eagles. It's my 3rd wide receiver, but I'm more than happy to make that selection. Following that pick, it's going to go Zay Flowers, Xavier Worthy, James Conner, and David Montgomery, setting AJ up really going any direction you want here because of the balance you started with.
I have a very good balance here, but I think the most important balance is having a good wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2. Week in, week out, those are the 2 players that you're going to be like, I need them to get at least 10 or more.
Yes, absolutely.
But here, I'm going to go with a little bit of an uncertainty. I'm going to go with George Pickens here as my wide receiver 2. He's had a little bit of a unexpected sort of events throughout his career, through college and through the NFL. But now on the Cowboys, I think it's going to be a great set for him here, and he's going to be consistent every week.
Yeah, so you took Pickens over 2 names that are going to be kind of turn some heads here. Jamison Williams and then Ted McMillan, the rookie for the Panthers. What was your thought process? Oh, obviously the rookie is a bit of a question mark. You already got a rookie.
Rookies are always a question mark to me, except Genty. I think Genty's going to be great.
Yeah.
But going over Williams here, I think the Lions just have a lot of depth overall. They have good running backs. They got good wide receivers, tight end. I think the most important thing was just making sure that I get a wide receiver that I can be confident in week and week out getting points.
I think that's very fair. And so following that, we're going to have Jamison Williams go, Joe Mixon, RJ Harvey, and then Jalen Waddle to close out the round. That's another receiver that's probably in play for you there. To start the 6th round, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, Travis Hunter, and then Patrick Mahomes. So it is interesting to see you took that running back early. You've now gone 4 picks without one. Are you going to go back to the running back here? Okay, he's going to go back to it.
Going back to the running backs here. I'm just going to look around for a little bit, see what I like, see what I don't like. And I do
a couple
see
names just to shout out here. Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco is here. Travion Henderson is here. Quinshon Judkins, obviously, there's a lot of questions. He is off the field, still unsigned with the Browns. Then DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, and Caleb Johnson, those top couple names.
See, I would take Judkins here, but he's had a lot of outfield.
And 2 rookie running backs as your top 2 is
not good.
A little
dangerous. I'm just going to go with a little bit of a veteran sort of say, not really a veteran, but just go with a Pacheco here. Just get somebody who's going to put up a good amount of points.
Yes, and there have been a lot of positive reports out of camp about him being clear 1, getting a lot of that first team reps, which is something to keep an eye on. it's good to see that for him. Now, it is very interesting. Your team is now extremely balanced. You filled out the starting lineup. You got the 2 flex left, whereas I've done almost the opposite, having still no quarterback and no RB2. But it is my pick now. After Pacheco went Ted McMillan, who I was honestly hoping got back to me, Travion Henderson, Chris Olave, and then Travis Kelce at tight end. So for me, I think I've got to look running back here. But I'm going to play the game. Still no quarterback. I'm going to wait. I'm going to push it down a little bit farther. Like I said in my quarterback episode, there are a lot of guys I feel comfortable with that are going a little later in the draft. I don't mind kicking that down the road and trying to fill out my skill positions first. So I am going to kick that down the road. Baker Mayfield's a guy here who I'm not as high on this year. Bo Nix is also here, but I don't think I'm going to reach and pull the trigger on him, especially when I look and see that both the teams picking after me already have quarterbacks. So if I wanted to wait, it's smarter to take a skill position player here and come back with something else.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with, there's 2 guys sitting here at wide receiver that are both ones for their team, Jerry Jeudy and Calvin Ridley. And those are 2 guys I'm looking at right here as potential picks for this spot for me. Of course, there's a lot of questions at quarterback for really both of these guys. With Calvin Ridley, is can the rookie step up and play? Is Cam Ward going to be good enough to get him the ball? With Jeudy, it's who's going to be his quarterback. Is it going to be Kenny Pickett? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? I think I am going to take the perceived production of a wide receiver 1 here. The question is which one, and I am leaning heavily towards the guy that I have ranked higher right now, which is Jerry Jeudy. So I'm going to take the guy that I have ranked higher. I'm going to go ahead and grab Jerry Jeudy here to be my 4th wide receiver. So I already have 4 wide receivers. That fills out my flex position. I think the receivers in a PPR league especially get you that. You're going to get catches. You know they're going to bring those points. Everyone on my team right now is a pass catcher. Even Alvin Kamara is a pass catcher. I'm looking to soak up those PPR points. Might have to load up on running backs later. And I was very fortunate. Only 1 running back went between my 2 picks. We see Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, Jordan Addison, and Chris Godwin come off the board, which means the running back that I wanted is still waiting for me. That's going to be DeAndre Swift, a guy who a lot of people don't like this year, but I'm looking at as a high ceiling. Ben Johnson comes in as the head coach. I think there's a chance to give him the ball a lot, and he is very successful this year. Quinshon Judkins finally goes after that. Then we see Bo Nix, Jacoby Myers, and Baker Mayfield. I'm sure you like to see that many quarterbacks come off the board since you already have yours. Now you're kind of looking at your pick of the litter. A couple rookies and a couple young guys at the top of the board here. Which direction are you thinking?
I'm looking here. I'm in the flex position right now where I'm looking at on my team. I already have running back filled out, quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end. I can go with any type of producing type of player, any type of wide receiver, tight end, or running back. And when I'm looking here, I don't hate Mark Andrews here, but I don't want 2 tight ends. If it comes back around to my next pick, I think I might go with Mark Andrews.
Sure.
But however, I want another running back, and with this pick, I'm actually going to go with somebody who got shot and came back even better. Brian Robinson is going to be my next running back.
I like Brian Robinson a lot. I have him a little bit higher than consensus, and a lot of people do. I have him as an RB2 this year. You're grabbing him as your 3rd running back. That's obviously a good value. Right after Brian Robinson, you see Caleb Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Rome Odunze, a guy who was on my radar, drafted wide receiver. I passed on him, I was really hoping to get Swift. I didn't want to double up on Bears there. Then Jared Goff, and then they start the 8th round, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Warren, Stephon Diggs, and Evan Ingram. While you look for your pick, I want to ask you a question on the Steelers backfield. Caleb Johnson, the rookie, Jalen Warren, the returner. There's a lot of reports that Warren is getting run with the 1. It's not Caleb Johnson, but Caleb Johnson goes first in this draft. His ADP is higher. What do you think about that? Which one of those guys are you looking at this year?
Whenever you look at a running back, I think it's more entwined, sort of to say, to go with the rookie. Okay. They don't have as much hits taken by them.
Sure.
But I think the Steelers' lifestyle, they take a lot of hard hits. I think you just go right back to him. I think you go to
Jalen Warren.
You go right back to Jalen Warren and make sure that he is your running back, because Steelers, they are known for their hard hits. I think you go with Warren.
I think Warren is going to be the one come the season as well. I think that's one of the more set backfields when it comes to a rookie and an incumbent. It's going to be Jalen Warren. So now you're on the clock here, still open because you're looking at your flex spots here. What are you thinking about here?
I mean, flex spot, any position, it really doesn't matter. Like I said before, if Mark Andrews was still there, I would think about it.
And he is still there.
He is still there, and I'm still thinking about it, and I think I might actually do it.
Okay.
In fantasy, you want to take reaches. You want to be confident in your picks, but you also want to make sure that you're not too uncertain about your picks. So I'm going to go with Mark Andrews here. I think a double tight end might be the move this year.
Yeah.
Probably won't be, but in my opinion, it might be.
And that's why we mock draft. This is why we do this kind of thing. See what your team looks like at the end. If you like it, if you don't like it, who knows what you're going to end up with. He did reach and take Trey McBride as the tight end one off the board, if you remember, in the second round. So this gives him a little bit of an insurance policy. Isaiah likely also just had the foot injury, which could boost Mark Andrews up the board even more and help you out there. After Andrews go, we have Khalil Shakir, Deebo Samuel, Travis Etienne, and Kyler Murray. Murray would have absolutely been in play for me here at quarterback had he made it. Unfortunately, he goes right before me, which leaves me looking in at potentially a running back or a wide receiver. I name it running back here I'm looking at is Najee Harris, but of course he had the eye injury, and it's really up in the air. The Chargers have not been very forthcoming in what's going on there. There are a lot of good running backs, or wide receivers, still on the board. The running back pool is a lot less strong in my opinion. So I think I am going to maybe go ahead and grab a wide receiver. I can take another shot. So I'm going to start filling out my bench here before I take the quarterback. And I think I'm going to take a shot at a wide receiver that I kind of believe in, maybe a little bit more than consensus. And actually, I'm going to do something a little different here. Something I might not do normally, but I have a very strong wide receiver core. I have 4 wide receivers I'm comfortable with. I'm going to take a guy that might start the season on the pup list. I'm going to get Brandon Ayuk here.
Okay.
The wide receiver for the 49ers, who right now is injured. There's a lot of questions about when he'll be ready. My team has enough depth at wide receiver that he can start on my pup and come back in later in the season and maybe replace Judy or Devonta Smith in my flex position. I'm more than happy to take that shot right here because of the start I had. If I needed him to be playing from the start of the season, I probably wouldn't make this pick. But because of the position I put myself in, I'm comfortable doing that. Following Ayuk, we see Jaden Reed, David Njoku, Matthew Golden, and Juwan Jennings go. While I'm looking for this pick right now, AJ, I want you to talk a little bit about that Packers wide receiver room. Jaden Reed is returning. Matthew Golden, the rookie out of Texas, they go almost back-to-back picks. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what you think about those two guys in particular.
I really do not keep up with the Packers at all.
That's
I'm
fair
not gonna
enough.
lie. It's in Green Bay. The only thing I know in Green Bay is they have a lot of cheese. After Aaron Rodgers left, I kind of pushed them away, and I don't really care about the Packers anymore. But you said a lot of good things about them, so what do you have to say?
I mean, I'm still leaning towards Jaden Reed. He's the incumbent guy, but they hadn't drafted a first-round wide receiver in 20 years or something like that. So to give that draft capital to Matthew Golden was very interesting. I do like Jaden Reed. He was in play for me at my pick while I wasn't going to take Matthew Golden just because we don't know what Golden's going to produce from the jump of this season. You're doing that, digging enough time to decide. I'm going to go running back here. I'm going to go Jordan Mason with the Minnesota Vikings. He is there too, but there's been a lot of reports that came coming out about more of a 50-50 split. I talked about it a little bit yesterday, that we might see him getting more work. I'm willing to take that shot at my third running back. There's obviously not a lot of guys on the board right now that are sure things, so I'm going to take the upside shot on Jordan Mason. After Jordan Mason, we see Josh Downs, Jonnu Smith, Tyler Warren, and Najee Harris come off the board. AJ, while you're looking for your pick, I'm just reminding people who you have. He's got a quarterback, Jalen Hurts. At running back, Ashton Genty, Isaiah Pacheco, and Brian Robinson. At wide receiver, Marvin Harrison and George Pickens. And then 2 tight ends in Trey McBride and Mark Andrews. Is wide receiver the play here because you just have the 2 guys, or are you looking maybe to go back to the running back well again here?
I have 2 back-to-back picks.
Closer way. Short way. Yeah, this is
short way. So I'm going to go with a wide receiver and a running back. It's just making sure which one do I take first to ensure that I get the player that I want.
Yes.
I'm looking at wide receiver right here with Ricky Pearsall. He's number 3 on the depth chart right now.
But there's all the health questions above him.
Exactly. Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk. With those 2, that pushes him up to number 1. Let's say they don't play week 1. He gets a lot of targets week 1.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to go with here. I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall.
I don't mind that in the slightest. The UF guy at the University of Florida. He also was shot last offseason. So you have a bit of a team theme going on here.
I got a little bit of a team.
A lot of people's bounce back candidate for this year. After Pearsall, we see Javonte Williams, Brock Purdy, Cam Scatteraboo, Michael Pittman to close out round 9, and then Colston Loveland, Justin Herbert, Darnell Mooney, and Emeka Ibuka to go. So now you said you're going to go wide receiver running back. What running back are you looking at here?
I'm looking right here, and the best available is the number 1 for the Patriots, Mr. Stevenson.
So do you believe he's going to be the number 1? Because a lot of people have kind of given that to Travion Henderson, the rookie out of Ohio State. They expect him to be the one. The Patriots have come out and said that Stevenson is the one. Are you going to bet on that right now?
As of this moment, I'm going to bet on him being.
Okay.
I know I said earlier you want to prioritize the rookie running back better.
Yes.
If you believe that they are better. However, the Patriots, they don't really have a lot to play for this year.
It's possible.
They're kind of just playing to play this year,
Yeah.
I would sort of say. You got Drake May as your starting QB. I mean, I don't hate Drake May, but it's Drake May, sort of say. So I think they're just going to go out there, they're going to play, they're going to let everybody get snaps. So I'm just going to go with Stevenson here as a good bench player, come in during a bye week, get me some points.
Looking at my rankings, I have Stevenson for more touches this year, but I have Henderson for more points. I think he's a little bit more efficient, but I do think Stevenson begins the season as the one. I don't hate that pick at all. After Stevenson, Dalton Kincaid, Caleb Williams, Zach Charbonnet, and Tajay Spears come off the board. I was hoping one of Charbonnet or Spears would fall back to me. I could grab that running back. Unfortunately, that does not happen. Just a reminder who I have so far. At running back, I have Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Swift, and Jordan Mason. Wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, and Brandon Ayuk. And then at tight end, I have Brock Bowers. Still no quarterback. I'm going to play the game again.
No QB
I see
still.
2 quarterbacks I'm happy with, Dak Prescott or Jordan Love. I'd be okay with either of those guys. There's 2 picks between us. Both those teams already have quarterbacks. I'm going to guess they don't both go quarterback here. So I'm going to play the game and push that down the road. Looking at it, I don't necessarily love any of the running backs, but I do see J.K. Dobbins down here.
Okay.
And I am going to pull the trigger on him. I am not as high on R.J. Harvey, the rookie out of UCF, as a lot of people are. I'm going to go ahead and take J.K. Dobbins and say he can be my RB4, potentially play a role this year. I'm very happy with that pick, and it did pay off.
Okay.
Dak Prescott was taken, so after J.K. Dobbins, Jake Ferguson goes, Jaden Higgins, and then Dak Prescott and Keon Coleman, which means Jordan Love gets back to me. Let me make sure he's my highest ranked quarterback left on the board. He is. I'm going to take him. I have him as my QB 13, so just outside my top 12 quarterbacks. Oh, but I'm looking at it, Justin Fields is here also. That's a much riskier play.
It does have him as questionable.
Yes, but he had a toe injury, but he's already back on the practice field. I'm not worried about that. The question is there enough upside? And I'm going to just talk through the strategy since it is a mock draft. I'm not worried about him stealing my guys later. But if I go Love, I think I'm okay ending this draft with just one quarterback and picking up someone off waivers for Jordan Love's bye week. If I go Fields, I'm going to need to draft a backup because he does run a little bit more. There's more risk of him getting injured. I think I'm going to take Fields. I'm going to take the shot on Justin Fields here and just see kind of how my team looks at the end. I have Fields projected as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I'm okay making that pick, and I'm very happy about it. After Fields go, a lot of the tight ends I talked about in the tight end video go off the board. Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts, Tucker Kraft, and then Jordan Love comes off the board. AJ, you are up. Just 3 picks left. You're looking for bench slots. What are you thinking about here?
I'm smiling here because I saw there was a QB taken right before mine.
Yes.
It was not the QB I was looking at.
Okay.
I'm looking at C.J. Stroud here. I'm a big C.J. Stroud fan. I love what he's doing with the Texans. And it fits with the bye week. And they played the Jacksonville Jaguars during that bye week that I have with Joe Burrow. So I think it's
Jalen Hurts, right?
Did I pick
Jalen
Burrow?
Hurts, yeah. I think you have Jalen Hurts on your
I
roster.
picked Jalen Hurts, not
No,
Joe Burrow. I was looking the wrong way.
Yes.
We were talking about that. But I'm looking at Stroud here. I really like Stroud, so I'm going to go with him here. Get my backup QB settled.
I like it. So you've gone double QB, double tight end.
Yes.
Depending upon the depth of your bench in your league, sometimes you're not going to want to take that second guy. You went double on both. Is that because of just locking up that bye week and having that week-to-week option if, say, Hurts starts the season slow? Was that your thought process there?
My thought process usually comes with this. I always need a second QB. I always need a good second QB to where if my starting QB is struggling, if Hurts is struggling, I could throw Stroud in maybe. You know? I took a little bit of a gamble here. I'm never a big fan of double tight ends. I think double tight ends usually is one of the dumbest things you could do in a league. But here with 2 flex spots, I thought, why not? Go with 2 tight ends here, see what happens.
Yeah, I don't mind that in the slightest, and that makes a lot of sense reasoning-wise. After you picked Trey Harris, Rashid Shaheed, Baishal Tootin, Luther Burden, getting a lot of positive camp reports, comes off the board, and then 3 running backs, Rashad White, Jaden Blue, and Tank Bigsby, and then Drake May puts you back on the clock. While you're looking for your pick here, I'm going to talk a little bit about that double tight end. For me, I'm not going to go second tight end here. And there was a world where I did end up with 2 quarterbacks if I had gone Jordan Love. Since I went Fields, I will end up with a second quarterback. For me, I like to try and load up on those position players, guys that you know are going to take the most hits and that you have to play the most of. In the double flex, there is obviously upside of taking that second tight end. With me, I have Bowers. I believe he's the guy. I also drafted Brandon Ayuk, which gives me a guy to put on my IR to start the year. I can pick up maybe that second tight end off the waivers or whatever you need to do with that. So you're back up here. Who are you looking at? What are you thinking here, AJ?
I'm looking here. I could do whatever I want at this point. I'm not going to go QB anymore. QB's done. Tight ends are done. Both of those are done. So I'm looking here. Running back, wide receiver. looking at best available while also making sure to look at the depth charts here.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a number 2 right here, Marvin Mims Jr. From the Broncos. And I'm not really a big Broncos fan, not really a big fan of all those West teams. But I also understand that they do like to throw. Bo Nix, he does like to throw. I've seen him throw.
Yeah.
He could throw it pretty far.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go with Mims here, Just get him some touches. He'll maybe come in, probably not.
And that's a big boomer bust guy, right? He's a big player. You're going to have a week where he could put up 25 fantasy points.
It's just,
do
I pick that week?
That's what I was going to bring up, is the fact that there'll be also weeks where he has 1 catch for 2 yards, and you just got to make sure you get the right week there. I don't mind as a depth piece, especially if that comes in early. If he has a big week early in the season, potentially a trade chip as well. I like that pick a lot. After Mims, we see Isaac Garindo, J.J. McCarthy, Austin Eckler, and Cam Ward come off the board. So I'm staring right now at my team. I have 2 picks left.
Okay.
I already said I'm going with a second quarterback. Right now I have 5 wide receivers, 4 running backs. So I am looking at the running backs because there's not really a receiver on the board right now that blows me away.
Okay.
So I think there's no reason not to take the running back here. The question is, what do I want to prioritize here? Do I want to prioritize a guy that I think can give me consistent work, or potentially a boomer bust guy? With this last running back, and the fact that I didn't prioritize running back early in the draft, that I have Kamara and Swift, and then Jordan Mason and J.K. Dobbins as my running backs.
Not really a nice certainty.
Maybe not a certainty, you could say. There's a couple names I'm looking at, and I want to honestly get your opinion on these guys, AJ, just off of name value. Nick Chubb is there from the Texans. Of course, he's coming off the big injury.
Exactly.
But Joe Mixon is banged up right now. Potentially a guy that could get work to start the season. Another name I'm looking at, Jerome Ford for the Browns.
Okay.
Now, this is a risk because they obviously drafted 2 running backs in the draft this year, Quinshad Judkins and Dylan Sampson. But there's all the questions about Quinshad Judkins. So is it Jerome Ford's the one to start the year? I don't know. While I'm looking at this, do you have any thoughts on those 2 players specifically?
Of course, you're going to want to look at Nick Chubb, the big name, who used to play for the Browns as well.
Yes.
You always want name value if you're looking at the bench, because you're going to know, okay, there's going to be a week where the team's going to put him out there because they know he's done it before, he could possibly do it again. But then you just talk about Ford with Judkins and his off-field, uncertainty. So it really depends on what you're looking for here. If you're looking for somebody who could come in 1 week and you're hoping, I need 20 points from this guy this week. So what are you kind of thinking in this process right now?
I gave you those 2 guys to talk about, and then I think I'm going to go with Ray Davis.
So
running back from the Bills. I was looking at those 2 guys. I landed on Davis. He's my highest ranked guy I have left right now. Actually, technically my second highest. I have Rico Dowdle ahead of him, but that was not a shot I wanted to play with my team build. Ray Davis is a younger guy, could potentially get some more carries this year with, I expect a regression from James Cook. So for that reason, I am going to take the shot on Ray Davis. I'm going for upside here.
Okay.
After that, Rico Dowdle goes right after. Then Isaiah Likely, Nick Chubb, and Trey Benson, which means I am up with one last pick. I want to go quarterback here. The question is, which one? I see Trevor Lawrence. I see Michael Penix. I see Matthew Stafford. Not a lot of guys I am super high on this year.
I'm looking here.
Yes,
I think there is somebody you should throw out, and I think you should throw on to Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Talk to me about Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, they didn't have, the best first year with the Panthers. The Panthers aren't really, a good team, but you went ahead and drafted somebody else.
I did, but I want to hear your take on Bryce Young.
I think we should just turn back around to what you did and tell the fans
so
what you did.
I drafted Sam Darnold, and my reason for that is he's my backup quarterback. I'm hoping I'm not having to play very much. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stack him with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I have JSN on my team. Why not go with, when I'm really kind of pretty balanced on all the quarterbacks that were there, why not go with a guy who's throwing to one of my wide receivers and potentially get those boom weeks out of that? Really a back-end stack there that I did not necessarily expect to get, but it worked out. After Darnold, we see Kyle Williams, the rookie out of New England. A lot of positive reports out of him right now. I like that last pick. Trevor Lawrence, Jack Beck, and Christian Kirk, leaving AJ on the clock with his last pick. What are we thinking here, AJ?
So if you know me as a person, you know that in my last pick, I always go with somebody very dumb who is never going to play.
That is true. He does do that.
I love to pick, Bronny James. I love to pick those Alvarados. And this year, with my last pick of this mock draft, I'm going to be going with Taysom Hill.
Goes 3 tight ends in this draft.
Exactly.
What a strategy, but it is good. The draft is closed out with Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, Rashad Bateman, and Michael Penix. So just to recap our teams here, if you want to throw in the comments who you think did a better job with this draft, reminder, AJ picking out a slot 8 here and a 12-teamer. He went Jalen Hurts at quarterback, Ashton Jeanty, and Isaiah Pacheco at running back. Marvin Harrison and George Pickens at wide receiver, Trey McBride at tight end, Brian Robinson and Mark Andrews in his flex, and then off the bench he has Ricky Pearsall, Ramondre Stevenson, C.J. Stroud, Marvin Mims, and then Taysom Hill. My team out of the third slot, Justin Fields at quarterback, Alvin Kamara and DeAndre Swift at running back, Justin Jefferson and Jackson Smith and Jigba at wide receiver, Brock Bowers at tight end, Devonta Smith and Jerry Jeudy in the flex with Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Ray Davis, and Sam Darnold. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I will be back tomorrow with a little breakdown of the Hall of Fame game as well as my wide receiver rankings. AJ, I want to thank you for coming out and coming back onto the show.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your days.
Have a great day.